This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All right, I'll call to order the March 4th Public Safety Building Committee meeting. Open time for the public, and seeing none, we'll move on to review the February 26th minutes. And I think we'll take a moment to review them. I imagine several people haven't read them.
Barry?
Oh, that's right, Barry. Yeah, we're hoping for Barry.
Yeah, he told us last time he couldn't make it, I think.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
he's away this week, this whole week. That's correct.
Chief said yes, hold up.
You can tell him he's expected to take over the
He
chair
wants to
when
know
he
if you're there.
Tell him no.
He says 20 minutes.
Oh, geez. Okay, well, onward.
Hold it, that ESP.
I'm the only one that can report the chief's been held up. I move to accept the minutes as written.
Second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I think that was unanimous. Thank you. Okay, on to the land negotiation update. So Scott has sent us this letter from Jim and Eugene that was written to Ed. I got this at my lunch break. I have not had a chance to read it.
Do you want a copy?
I read it earlier.
So they'll take care of the expenses on the survey stuff, huh?
Depends if it's a little wee or a big wee. I'm not sure on that one. I think I would want to clarify that a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's see, I guess what I would question here, in paragraph 3, well, in sentence 4, the minimum requirements and the possibility of ending up with a non-conforming commercial lot, I thought that had already been plotted out in the initial survey, or the initial map we got from Heritage, that there were 4 conforming commercial lots.
That was a preliminary plan submission.
Right.
So preliminary doesn't mean that it's exactly out.
some basic measurements aren't taken to
Oh,
know
yeah, I'm
overall
sure.
measurement divided by 4?
Yeah, Heritage is very competent surveyors. I'm assuming that the lots were laid out appropriately, yes.
Do you know, the question had to do with the fact that what was in their initial letter, they spoke of 30-something thousand square feet, and then we wanted clarification up to 48,000. So this, it's not crystal clear that they said it will end up closer to 48,000.
Yeah, I wasn't here 2 meetings ago. I was wondering, what was the justification for requesting 48,000 square feet?
That is what, on the preliminary map, Ed translated 1.2 acres
Okay.
to square
Okay.
footage. So he was saying the map we've been working with, the information that we've been working with to date,
Showed it for you.
showed it at roughly 48,000, and they have minimized that or diminished the amount to 37. And at Ed's suggestion, we countered that because that 48,000 square feet or that 1.2 acre designation was being offered for, and I know that's not definite because absolutely nothing is definite here, but being offered for 550,000, and now the 37 is also being offered for 550.
And now what's happened with this letter is if you look at line 4, he states, I believe we can end up closer to 48,000.
Right.
So I think he read what we had said and decided, oh, wait a minute, we got to correct that. And that's what it looks like.
It's a supposition, though. It may be correct, Charlie, but it's not clear.
Well, what he's saying is, I believe we'll end up closer to 48,000 square feet on the front lot once we move forward with survey.
Right. Right. So again, nothing definitive has come out of
No.
this letter. Not a thing, I think.
Right, I think until such time he actually prepares an A&R, it's ink on paper, it's not a defined lot. So he has to have a surveyor prepare an A&R plan that specifically lays out the property. I think the intent here says that he intends to make 48,000 square foot A&R lot.
So, I'm sorry.
So, Mark, when somebody like Heritage does the A&R, do they actually do a survey in order to provide the A&R, or do they do kind of a
They have
a
to.
measurement? Is it an official survey?
They have to prepare an official, in order to submit an A&R, it has to be an official survey stamped by a surveyor saying it conforms to the lot, and then it's presented to the planning board, and then if it meets the criteria, it's approved by the planning board as a legal lot.
Okay, so that would be considered an official survey with the actual correct measurements?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
But that would be a, sorry. Go ahead.
so have we reached a point now where we want the Labries to prepare an A&R for our approval so that we can move forward?
Planning board's approval.
Well, we have to approve it before the planning board approves it, because if we don't want it as a donation,
It's not a donation, it's the other lot.
It's the commercial lot.
right, but we're still gonna be, in my mind, the A&R should be the lot that we're buying and the donated lot. So it's one A&R. So we know finally if it's 130 feet or 132 feet or whatever, but it's time now for them to have a surveyor put this A&R together so that we have something that we can say, yes, we want to move forward with. And if that happens, then the select board's going to move forward with that, and he has to submit to the planning board for approval.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessary that they be a single A&R. He could have an A&R for the frontage lot and a separate A&R for the non-frontage lot in the back. It would have to be called a non-building lot because it would not have frontage.
And that's why I would much rather see it as one A&R, that's a building lot, there's your access, and we all know when we go to town meeting, That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, there's no further steps if this is the parcel that we're
Right.
buying. Yeah.
I'm trying to, in my mind, narrow this down as close as I can to making it. But I think we've reached a point where we need to ask them to put the A&R together. I mean, I could be wrong, I'm no expert at this, but
I think it's long overdue that we know what we're building on, we're proposing to build on. Now, I want to have you have the opportunity, Chief and John and Mark, to weigh in on this too.
Yeah, what's to be gained by waiting?
Right, do you have any, Mark, are you and Charlie in agreement here that this is the time to firm up what we're working with?
I see no reason that it could not be. I agree. I agree with you. It's time to do that.
Okay.
There's no reason, all you do is tell Heritage, prepare an A&R.
They have to tell them if they're paying for it.
well, that'll trigger it.
They have to tell them. Jim's saying that they will pay for the survey and the A&R, the preparation and.
Correct.
So it has to come from Jim.
Yeah, oh, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'll say
Yeah.
for the Labrie to tell Heritage to proceed.
Okay.
And prepare an A&R.
So that would be up to Scott, correct, to
Yes,
contact
eventually Scott.
the Labries?
And tell them you're not Ed, you know?
Let's go back to the couple questions that you
Yes.
asked in the letter that generated this, right?
Yes.
So one was, per your letter, you offered 37,000 to the town for 550,000. However, the preliminary subdivision shows it is 48. Would it be possible to acquire the commercial property at 48? If so, what may that entail? So we sort of have an answer for that, maybe?
Well, an inconclusive one, but yes, it has been
Then
addressed.
would you please clarify your offer of splitting the cost of survey for what parcel or parcels? Would this be just for the commercial lot or for both the donated and the commercial lot? So that's maybe a little not clear totally. And then, has the property already been surveyed for subdividing? And I think we do have an answer on that. No survey at this time. So that was basically, and then approximate cost of surveying, but if this is, we will take care of that expense once we have an agreement in place. I'm just hoping we isn't the global we and them, it's them. But that's got to be much clearer than we have it.
Well, that's a little disconcerting because it says they're not going to prepare the A&R until they have a signed agreement that the town is going to buy it.
Yeah,
So
we're
that's
not gonna have a signed agreement until we have an A&R. And
Right.
that's why I'm proposing a motion to ask them to put the A&R together, so we have something to agree to with a purchase and sale agreement. Right now, we have nothing to agree with.
Correct.
Because we need we're going to need a more definitive purchase and sale agreement, I think, to go to town meeting, right? I would think. So how long would, time is ticking, so as we have to put, on the minutes here, one of the other dates that, dates to keep in mind is March 21, I believe, is when articles are due for town meeting. So that's not very far away in terms of writing up the articles, so we need to be clear in terms of what we want to ask KP Law to help us draft up for the articles for town meeting. I think Ed was suggesting 2, if I'm not mistaken. Right? One for the parcel and then one for the bigger.
Right, right.
One for the purchase parcel, one for the donated parcel, and one for the large everything. So it's actually 3 articles.
Correct, so that's my understanding of it as well.
He split those out, that's true, that is true. Yeah, so
So-
just say, we've got, there's lots of steps to do, and I don't know how long it takes them to do an A&R and a survey, and here we are, March.
I can't speak for Heritage, but from what I saw in the preliminary plan, it should not take them too long.
I make a motion.
Wait, go slower, just think. What was the date of that letter, Chris, that Ed sent? I think it was in his minutes. The one where he sent with questions, you just read the questions.
Oh, I know.
Oh, it was the 23rd,
23rd, yeah.
Yep, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. And so they got back to us today.
Hold your motion just for a second.
And I would like Mark to clarify what he just said too.
Let me check one more thing too, because
Rich, you can see I'm the instigator here.
Yes, you are. Someone's got to do it.
I know.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Mark, would you please repeat what you just said about purchase and sale and the A&R? You gave a sequence.
Oh, yeah. In my opinion, his statement here was that as far as the cost for preparing the A&R plan survey, we will take care of that expense once we have an agreement in place. It's sort of disconcerting that if he's not going to pay until after an agreement's in place.
We can't get to an agreement until we have the A&R and the survey.
Right, and they have yet to offer any sort of offer. They have not made a formal offer to us either.
We can't do an A&R because it's their property, right? They have to do it.
It's theirs,
Do the
yeah.
A&R and then have them pay for it. They have to initiate it.
Yeah.
Is that
Right.
Because they have to also bring it before the planning board too.
Yeah.
so-
And they're looking for an agreement before the A&R.
Right, that's why I want to make, eventually, when I'm allowed to, I want to make a motion that we vote to request them to put the A&R and the survey together for both parcels joined.
Yeah, no.
And then that will allow us to take and go into a contract agreement for purchase and sale, which will then allow us to have an article at town meeting that we can demonstrate what we're doing.
And I have to raise this question too. Is this our committee's responsibility, or is it the select board to be negotiating for this land? It seems to me as though it is our town
We pass it on
administrator
to
and
the town
select board,
administrator.
not us.
In terms of the price of the land?
Everything. Shouldn't the select board and Scott be pursuing the negotiations and
Yeah,
not
I think
us?
that's how this started, right? So, I mean, the communication's been back and forth between Ed. I sat in on the very first meeting, but he's been the one negotiating all this so far, and this is as far as we are. So, yeah, so the next steps have got to be, Scott would be glad to join in, but, yes.
But the core questions are generated by this committee.
Are they?
They have been.
Well, I think that's legit. I think as far as negotiating any cost, that's a purview of the select board and the town administrator, but I don't, there's not questions no reason we as a committee can't request.
Right. But who amongst us, and I'm not saying we don't have this expertise, but who amongst us has any experience negotiating real estate transactions? I, for one, do not.
Neither do I.
Long time ago.
About a house?
Up to our house now.
No, the answer's correct.
I just think that we don't know what we're doing, and we're trying, and Jim and Eugene are not engaging their lawyer to present us with a formal offer. We are going back and forth in a very unprofessional way, and we're running out of time. And I think that we need to overhaul our approach here and get us onto the right track so that we have what we need as fast as possible. And I feel uncomfortable about the way that we have dithered over the past months and have gotten nothing. We still have just personal communications. We do not have anything that's in the form of a legal
There's not even a
document.
letter signed. I mean, these are emails.
These are emails, and they are unprofessional.
And we know about lawyers, they've never just accepted what was written, they're going to rewrite it, they're going to revise it, because that's the rule that they follow, in my
Well, these are
experience with
poorly
lawyers.
authored, too.
In my experience with lawyers, they're going to find some reason to write it differently.
So,
So would you want them to go and ask them to engage their lawyer in contact with KP Law and say, we need to get more specifics here?
And we need it right away, yeah.
I mean, if they want this all settled by town meeting, we want it settled by town meeting. Time is ticking.
How about the Realtor? They would be more motivated to get a sale.
I don't see the Realtor getting involved in
Yeah,
any of
we're working
this.
directly with them.
They have been like.
Yeah, this is really a private sale from.
The only thing I've been watching Realtors is with the housing side of it, but not anything with the commercial side.
I mean, they were there when we did the survey.
I know, but they were more interested in the housing
Oh, okay.
side of it. They weren't talking at all about the commercial stuff.
Because I didn't know if they had some agreement where they would get, we bought the lot, that they would get their percentage.
But one clarification on that, Mark, was at that time, we were not talking about purchasing anything. It was all
Right.
about the donated lot,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
So, do you want to make a motion to ask the town select board to engage KP Law to start this?
I wonder what you think, Scott, that we should do at this point, based on your orientation to this.
I mean, I haven't really looked into all the details of what's happened to this point, but I feel a lot more comfortable with a little bit more of a formal process.
What would be the steps for that? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to see, I'll look up the assessor maps and actually physically see what.
I got them right here.
We got them, okay.
Do you want to see the assessor maps? I have some extra copies if anybody wants to see them.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember the number of the
Map 19,
Map 19?
144,
Okay.
and 141.
All right, so here's some assessor maps if anybody wants to
And
look
map
at them.
24 as well, so 2 maps.
Okay, so you can pass that down to Scott. Map 19, what? Which numbers?
And map 24 as well. So according to the letter, that we first wrote us,
Ever prepared, Cindy.
No, Chris said, don't show up until you bring assessor's maps.
oh, I didn't know you were breaking all the colors.
Okay.
So map 19, lot 141. I'm gonna share
There's some extra ones. Mark. Do you want the color one? 19. There should be a 19.
Yeah, maybe, let me get, no, go from
Okay, then here you
13
go.
to 22.
We can share this one.
Yes. Thank you.
You guys can share that one. So that's fine.
No,
Got a
Yep.
13 and 22.
it goes from 13 to 22, Cindy, we don't have map 19 here.
Okay, we ran into the problem with tie-in bond, I'm sorry. This one has it.
Here,
It's 24 is the next one.
Tie-in bond,
let me take this one down, Cindy, and I can share it with you.
you can give me back
and
ones that don't
Mark.
have the correct
There's
map.
19 and there's no, 24 is here, but, so one map is here.
It's a big parcel.
Thank you.
It's not.
Sorry about that.
Yes, Scott. So 19, 141 and.
Chief, do you have 19?
148.
Page 19?
All right, I think I might have another set. I grabbed these off the table when I went down.
24.
This is what, 19. Map. And according to this, it should be, next page should be 24.
So right and left, 24 with, yeah.
15 and 24.
Or be just this point right here. Would be this. Additional parcel.
And it shows all the way, on this one, where does the greenway run?
This is the greenway.
Scott's got
Oh,
You want to look over there? There's
It's a railroad, like owned by the railroad.
Trying to find
That's
map-
the greenway.
Trying to find lot 15.
And this is the greenway,
okay, so College Highway is,
right here.
okay,
College Highway's here.
yes.
and this comes back, and this is the Greenway.
And what about the parcel that
Well,
goes
that was a
behind?
question from day one, is what, it's a separate parcel on the east side of the Greenway, is that part of the, but that's part of the big lot. As far as this committee is concerned, in my opinion, we're looking at just 2 pieces of property.
Right.
Right.
We don't
Right.
care, well, we can't get involved with the other parties. We're looking at 2 parcels. A
Right.
frontage lot
right, because
The free one and
Donation
the,
and the donation lot, and the rest of it is something that the town is in discussion amongst themselves about whether or not they're interested in purchasing. But
Right.
This committee is concerned with safety, public safety committee, building, and that's a frontage lot and a donated parcel. And I
right,
think
the
it's-
free lot and the driveway lot.
And I think we're going down a funky road here outside of our purview. We don't have to worry about anything else on the other side of the Greenway, or if it does go to the Greenway.
Well, with the exception that
and you know which one.
we did authorize the appraisal of the full parcel
Correct.
as well, to be paid for with our funds. With the
So, I mean, I'd like to
possibility,
reach
the
out to
hope and
Keith Law just to
possibility that we
make
could
sure that
maybe.
all the provisions for procuring, properties.
Thank you.
So the donated land, would the town accept donated land without purchasing the front? Or it's gotta be one package?
We can accept it, but we're accepting a piece of landlocked land,
It's a landlocked
Right.
parcel right
which
now.
is, at this point, hasn't been surveyed, so there's no description of what we're accepting.
Right.
That's the reason why we need to take and do the A&R in the survey, so we have language.
I don't think we really have any terrible desire to purchase or to just have the donated property by itself, because it's all dependent on another subdivision roadway, when and if and ever that gets done, so it holds up the
Yeah.
entire,
So you could never sell that property without the frontage commercial anyways, so it's really one property.
Right, it's basically dormant property until they put the subdivision in.
which could be whatever.
Which-
Yeah, it's landlocked.
Yeah,
So it's not a buildable lot.
that's why purchasing that parcel in the front gives us access to Route 10, and we can just keep moving along.
And eventually, when the rest of it, if we were not to buy the entire 50-some acres, and they continue to develop that, then we're not dependent on them and all their permitting and engineering and all that stuff to do. So if we decided to go for the big parcel, then it's a little bit of a moot point, but we need to kind of know that.
So that's why I want to make a motion that we request they put together an A&R for both parcels joined. But I also believe you should be contacting KP Law and moving that forward on the legal side of this. We can certainly request the A&R and the survey, and they can certainly turn around and say, no, we're not going to do that. But then we have the attorneys getting involved to basically sort this out.
Well, I would put forth, should we not be requesting that the select board and Scott request the A&R rather than our committee? I don't know, I'm asking.
Well, I'm looking at it that we're already firing questions at them, have been for a while.
It doesn't mean we've been doing it correctly.
Oh, I totally agree.
And if they're gonna sell the property or get rid of it, they're gonna have to do the survey anyways.
Yeah.
So if the town pays for it and does a survey, it's the town's survey, it's not their survey.
Right. And I don't, as a taxpayer, I don't want to be the town paying for that survey.
That's correct, but I'm just asking whether we should be voting, making a motion to request an A&R from the Labries or requesting the select board.
Requesting the town administrator and the select board, to do that.
Okay.
It's been between the town administrator and the Labries up till now.
Yeah.
Okay, but then I wasn't clear about the motion you were making.
Well, I haven't really made a motion. What we've been doing is debating a motion that hasn't been put on the table.
So simultaneously, though, to get this all in place by town meeting, the select board also has to be moving forward on the full parcel. And if you would still just be patient for a moment, Charlie.
We're fine.
before anything can be negotiated, correct, we have to have an appraisal. They're asking $550 for this. What if we have to know what the appraisal is. If by chance it is valued at $250, and I'm just grabbing a number, we have to feel justified in what we're paying. So that's a key thing too, is getting the appraisal figures.
Well, that's already been
in place.
requested.
It's requested, but it's not here. 5 to 6 weeks is pretty far out still.
True.
It's still the end of March by the time we get that. And it's 5 weeks from whenever we talked about it, so.
And if we get an appraisal that comes back saying it's worth $250 and they're asking for $500, we can only pay the $250.
Ed stated otherwise, I believe.
He did state otherwise, that as long as we're not using CPA funds, we can pay whatever we want, but that is not justification for putting before the town $550.
No, I think because, these were not community preservation funds. We're not as bound.
I think we're bound for the interest of the general public that makes
Yes.
they're somewhat in line.
Yes.
But according to a previous comment by Ed, that it was not a requirement that our offer meet or be lower than the appraisal value.
But before,
Right, but the appraisal value is lower than what they're requesting. That's what I'm saying.
Right, but Ed said legally we, as a town, could pay
More.
greater than the appraisal value.
If we were using CPC funds to buy it, which we would not be,
You could,
then we have to look at the appraisal value that we get back as a town. But if we're not using those funds, if it's going out for borrowing or whatever we're doing, we still would want a good deal on it, but we wouldn't be tied to paying that lower appraised amount, is what I understood as well.
yeah, a fair value. We want a fair value.
Right.
But it's only when we have the appraised value and a survey done and an A&R prepared that we can even begin negotiations. Am I correct? Okay, so we're running behind. So,
Can I make that motion?
I mean, I'm not quite sure how, I've never met with James Labrie, but it doesn't seem like he's too responsive. And that's my concern. Plus he hasn't been feeling well, so this was a week and a half ago.
yes.
yeah.
Yes, there's urgency here, and you are correct in your assessment.
And I think it's fair to say, Charlie can confirm this, he's been talking about making this donation for how many years?
Since 2019.
Since 2019, Jim and Eugene. Yep.
We're the ones that have had.
They were both present when Mark and me and Chris and the Cannons were there the day they walked us around. I don't know, was I there that day? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Were you there that day?
Yeah. Was there.
And the chief was there, Illingsworth, yeah. So anyway, they verbalized things, but we
Yeah.
haven't yet seen
This is
anything.
the most we have in writing right now than we've had for 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still not.
I think we should make a very short, concise definition of what is
Yeah.
we want or need. I think we sort of, but him generally, I don't think, Ed may have been talking in generalities, but maybe we needed a clear, crisp, concise,
Professional.
Survey?
I mean, a
Legal.
request for them to do. I mean, we
Yeah,
can't
something
do it,
defensible,
but
yeah.
we
So if
want.
I made a motion hypothetically in another
Yes.
world at another time,
Correct.
that I move that this committee request the Board of Select Board to,
Basically the town administrator.
through the town administrator, to request the Labries to provide us with an A&R and survey of the two properties adjoining, so that we can move forward with negotiations. Would that be accepted as a motion?
Well, I would say we need to additionally add that we need a formal offer with the terms and conditions laid out.
But
Well, that's a separate motion.
part.
Yeah.
Is it separate?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think we can do negotiations on the price. I mean, I'm thinking that's.
No, I'm not talking about the negotiations on the price, but that someone needs to learn what the terms and conditions of this donation are. We voted on that 2 months ago or
Right.
more,
There were
and
any-
we have never gotten what we asked for.
So,
Yeah, most we got was that letter. Yeah.
so if the motion's on the table and someone seconds it,
Well, is it enough? I wonder if the motion needs to have a time frame in it. Because they could let another 6 weeks pass before we,
30 days,
well, is that, it's gotta be sooner than that.
you're not gonna get any sooner.
They're the ones who have put the timeline on of town meeting. They have to,
Well, just to say something about that, do we have to go to the annual town meeting for this, or can this be a fall town meeting? I mean, if we see that we can't make it, I would rather pull back and regroup and
You
do
could
it
do a
as
special
a...
town meeting.
Yeah, not kill ourselves trying to...
yes, but they've made it clear all along, they want this done by annual town meeting, and at the end of their February 1st letter, it says, after the 2024 town meeting, if there is a positive vote, we would like to close within 60 days. Now, I have personally thought that we have been pushing too hard on this. We are doing it in a way that is, we're not working through things in a systematic way that will get us to our end result. I would be in favor of just slowing down myself and making sure we have all the ducks in a line before we ask our residents to approve.
This is a big question for the community.
I also was advised by Bill Sayer from, was it Bill? From the Williamsburg, who was the chair of the Williamsburg Public Safety. He really recommended a special town meeting because there's too many expenditures at an annual. And that this is such a big deal. We need to have a town meeting that focuses on it. So that's a whole other thing that is being tossed out. But at this moment, the Labries expect that decisions are going to be made at annual.
But if we keep moving forward and show them a good faith effort that we're trying to get this done, given the fact that they've been doing this for how many years, trying to donate this land, and they see it's going to take another 6 months, I don't think that's a make or break with them.
No, I don't expect it will be a make or break with them, but I think we need to clarify what we need and let them, I mean, they have not facilitated our getting it to annual town meting. We still have nothing from them.
Don't debate that at all.
I think the only risk that comes in my mind is that the commercial property, when Ed and I first met with them, our very first meeting, was that they said that they had an offer on on a commercial property, they had not accepted it yet.
On that one or
I
A?
believe it was that one, because people were wanting that southernmost one, but
That's hearsay.
I know, so again, there's nothing in writing on that, so, but the point is, should it be that parcel and they already have an offer on it, that could really squelch our entire deal.
Yeah, but Chris, they haven't done anything to enable us to make a decision.
No, I
We have
understand,
nothing.
I'm just saying, this is another piece of the conversation that we were told in the very, very beginning. It's not in writing anywhere, even in their
But Chris,
letter.
let's just take that as fact and say, all their subsequent behaviors have not reflected any kind of rush on their part. Now granted, they were traveling in December and now Jim got ill or something else came up, but there's nothing in there about, we do have,
I'm not.
So almost like, is that a ploy, or almost like, is that in fact a wishful thinking kind of offer?
Is it, do we have a motion on the floor? We should finish some of this stuff. so
Well,
we
I
understand
made a
what we're-
motion, but it never got
Well-
seconded.
So articulate it once more, please.
Can I read what I got,
Yes.
Charlie, and you tell me? Charlie moved to have the Public Safety Building Committee and Town Administrator and Select Board request the Labries create or get an A&R and survey for both parcels joined, so the Public Safety Building Committee can move forward. And I suggest you put a timeline in there.
Right, and I said 30 days.
Is that,
Yeah, I would say that so the negotiations can commence or something like that. We can't
Yeah.
move forward
Yeah,
until,
30 days so negotiations can commence
30 days?
with the select board.
and town administrator.
Right.
Let's start to get this right.
Can't commence.
I'd say I'm not sure how we would close within 60 days after a town meeting.
No,
I know, just going back to that, I think
Yeah.
that'd be a near impossibility.
Yeah. Well, all of this is personal notes. Nothing is well thought out, professionally
Just
thought
for
out.
comedy, I said to Ed, town meeting is in May. If you vote this money, it becomes effective in July. If you got a 30-day window, what are you doing, writing the check on July 1st? It's just, it was, of course, he laughed and said,
Okay, so I will second that motion. Is that okay? Is there a second on the floor? I've seconded it.
Could you read it again, please?
Hope I get it right. Charlie moves that the Public Safety Building Committee and the Town Administrator and the Select Board request the Labries get an A&R and survey for both parcels joined within 30 days so that the Public Safety Building Committee can commence negotiations.
No, we're not.
So the town.
the town can commence
Yes.
So the
negotiations.
town, all right. So
I'm not
the
getting into
town
the middle of negotiations.
can commence negotiations, okay. So the town can commence, yeah, I got it. So it's made and seconded.
All in favor?
Aye. We need to move.
Is there any nays?
Well, I'm just wondering whether I know whether it's sufficient and whether I'll abstain, just because I'm not trying to hold it up, Charlie. I am just, I feel like I'm,
We won't know until 6 months after the fact of if what we did was the way we should have. There's no way of answering that question.
Well, I think, we've at least got something where, the town administrator can follow up now with this and say, okay, here I am. This is what we need from you. In order to move forward, we need you to move on the A&R and the getting an appraisal done on the donated and the commercial property. Now, what that doesn't get us is any kind of an appraisal, any kind of a survey done or anything else on the bigger property
No, it doesn't.
at all. So, I mean.
but that's not up to us.
I know, but it is up to the town. I mean,
It's up to the select board to move forward on that.
The select board is right here. We're not gonna wait until the next select board meeting, which is 2 weeks out to start this. So,
Right.
Scott's gonna take the lead on that. But I mean, we've already given the go-ahead to do the appraisal. So that whole appraisal stuff is happening. That's still 5 to 6 weeks before we get results of the appraisal on any of this parcel at Zero College. So, but that too probably, the bigger part, should we go with the bigger parcel at some point? And I don't know, that point I guess is town meeting, whenever we do that, right? They still have got to survey out somehow before that. They've still got to survey the big parcel. That's not even part of this at all right
I
now.
wonder if it's already been surveyed because they purchased it.
Yeah, well.
Right,
No, it says right there, they didn't ever have a survey.
in 2017, it was surveyed.
Yeah.
When they bought it, they had, the
Of course,
Waynes must
at the
have
time,
surveyed it, yes.
The purchase.
And the title was searched at that time. I know that means nothing now, but it was searched.
Yeah, so those are other steps that would normally happen anyway.
Right.
Going forward, but.
Is there a checklist or like a timeframe that says all the different steps that need to happen leading up to a town meeting?
No,
Not really.
I'll try to put one
we
together.
need to, yes. Scott, we are imploring you to get us on track.
Yes.
Now, we should have like at least an agenda or a list that says, 30 days ahead of town meeting, we have to have X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Before that, so we're clear about that.
Is it proper, given that all we have are these letters, or a letter and this response now?
Emails.
Is this something that, normally they should have their lawyer engaged in making this a little bit more official, right? As an offer. Is it appropriate for us to take that information to KP Law and say, look, this is what we have? Would they draft a purchase and sale to throw back at them, thus,
Sure.
getting
Why not?
their lawyer having to get a lawyer involved. Otherwise, I mean, I don't know if that's an appropriate,
I think at least a letter of intent.
yeah, something,
Yeah.
something to judge, kind of move the ball down the road a little bit with their lawyer, or them getting a lawyer.
You might be thinking 2 letters, one for the whole property.
Well, maybe,
And one for-
But don't we need the appraisal to have an appraised figure before KP could write up a purchase and sale?
Well, you leave some things.
But we can,
Yeah.
we've got the information in the letter they gave us, okay? I think we could leave the, I don't know, we leave the amounts blank or whatever, but if they put in their 2.6 and their 550, I mean, it's all conditional on whatever we come back with for,
Right.
I think it's, the town is interested in obtaining those 2 parcels. And we can just put in the letter what their requirements are that they need for us to move forward with that. Whether it's the A&R, the survey, estimated what they're looking for
Right.
price, whatever it is.
and we acknowledge that there's an appraisal underway, and we hope to have those results soon.
So Chris, what you're recommending is that KP be requested to request the A&R and survey, and that KP will take over as far as making the requests and starting to get things formalized, or? I'm just trying to
Yeah,
understand.
I guess I'm just wondering if with the information they put in that full letter,
Yeah,
that, mentioned the parcels and it gave us the amount for the big parcel and then this small one for the 550 and so forth. If by putting something in writing from KP Law, I mean, it should come from purchase and sale and then we react to it, right?
right.
Okay, it's not happening that way. So can we work it backwards somehow where we have some of the basic, not all the details, but at least some of the broad strokes of this letter or the previous letter for KP Law to then draft a letter of intent or something to them saying,
There you go, chief.
All good stuff.
we're interested in, per your letter, we're interested in this, but in order for us to proceed as a town, we need X, Y, and Z, which would then make them have to get their lawyer involved.
Well, yeah, but that's putting the financial burden on the town, right? To write up, to pay KP to do what they should have done months ago.
KP's gonna have to react to one anyway.
I
at some
know,
point.
react, but why would
Yeah.
they have to draft it?
No, I mean, no, that's why I asked, it's whether that's even appropriate. for them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Usually have a purchase and sell, you usually purchase, offer to sell,
Yeah.
or I'm offering to purchase, so it's. supposed to
So maybe in the
purchase or
letter
sell.
though, I mean, in the letter that the town would write requesting the A&R and the appraisal, and the survey rather, would be that, we are also awaiting a purchase and sale agreement from your council. Put it in the letter back to Labrie, and just do that.
And it's also important to let them know about the time of that. We're
Yeah.
more than likely not going to make the annual town meeting.
Given the delays. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Just give them a fair warning.
Yeah, I think so. So I think those 3 points could go in the letter from Scott too then.
Okay.
So-
Got all that, Scott? In your notes?
The day you push that button, it doesn't play back. It's the day
So the 3
before.
points would be to request they get an A&R and a survey done of the donated and
Frontage lot.
commercial property together, as we had already said, as well as present us with a purchase and sale agreement from their legal counsel.
That's it, yeah.
It's only 2 things.
By such and such a date, right? Or-
You said 3 points.
A&R,
Survey,
survey,
and
and
present us with a personal set. Okay, sorry.
that was my, just a thought.
I like that.
And not to make it more complicated, because I think let's get that concise and then we'll move on.
There's no motion yet, it's just,
Yeah.
that's what you said.
What you just said was very nice.
Good, okay. Were you going to add?
No, this is the second question after you finish that.
Does this need to be in the form of a motion? You have voted, I have not yet voted, but we voted, there was a motion made and seconded and voted on to request the town administrator and select board to move forward. Okay, so now Chris has suggested additional information that would be included in this letter.
Just to add in the letter, that would be
Right.
requesting the A&R and the survey of these 2 properties, that there be a formal,
Okay.
I don't say formal, but there be a purchase and sale agreement
Yeah.
presented to us so that we can move on to the
But
next.
your letter is coming from KP Law,
No, I changed all that.
Oh, you
This is
changed all
coming
that?
from the town administrator.
Yeah, this-
from Town Aid.
From
Okay,
the town.
I was throwing out the idea whether that was even appropriate.
I'm
Because
sorry,
she is right
okay.
that, we don't need to incur more money than we have to already. And at some point, KP Law's got to react to the purchase and sale. So
Okay.
let's put them on the dime. I was just trying to force them to hurry up and get a lawyer on board, but that may not happen. I don't know.
So is that a modification of the original?
That's what I'm
It's an
asking, is
amendment to
it
the
an
original
amendment that we have to make now? Should
Unless
it,
we withdraw our motion and have a brand new motion, why don't we do that?
well, should it be also added that, into this letter, or that we formally request of Scott that there is question as to whether this can be done by annual town meeting?
Completed
Should that
in
be
time
noted?
for submission to town
Yeah,
meeting.
I think there could be mention of that.
Completed in time for submission to annual town meeting.
We're talking even about maybe having to have a special town meeting. If we're going to get ready for this,
Okay.
given that we have an extra month in from them. So, yeah,
The annual town meeting is May.
May 7th. So I'm just going to propose that if we need to vote, do we need to have this as a motion, just as an amendment? May we vote on an amendment to the original
So moved.
motion?
sure.
Second, please.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye, and I will vote
Aye.
in favor of that as well. Okay. Okay. Mark, you wanted to
Yeah, this
throw
is
out another
probably,
question?
again, I don't want to get outside the jurisdiction of the committee, but the town is interested in also looking at the entire parcel as part of the town meeting. And I don't know if that survey will be completed. I don't know if the town, in the town warrant could state parcels, map and page, and that would encompass their entire parcel without requiring a formal survey.
For the big parcel, you mean?
Right, I'm strictly talking, this is a separate question regarding the big, because I think the way we were going to go to town meeting was going to ask for acceptance of the donated parcel and the frontage parcel. And then the second question was, hey, how about the town buy the entire project area? And no, we're not going to get that survey done in time. So if the town wanted to pursue the entire parcel, could the language state that it would stipulate that be parcels X, Y, and Z, paid, book and page?
It might be, but I'm not sure because nothing has been really carved out of the current parcels, right?
Right, I'm just saying, if we're gonna buy if the town's gonna buy the entire thing, we don't really need the A&R, it
Oh,
will
I
be
see.
there, but, we can keep it, but,
Mark, are you suggesting that a vote on the entire parcel could be moved on in
Well,
annual if public safety pushes off to special town meeting?
I'm just going back and going back to the joint meeting that was conducted, that there was discussion of going to town meeting with the questions of will the town accept the donated parcel and purchase of the frontage lot? And then another motion to purchase the entire project. And if they purchase the entire project, it sort of would override the first vote in a way. But, can the town, and I'm just throwing this out there, can the town offer to purchase the entire parcel based upon book and page versus an actual survey? This is sort of out of our jurisdiction right now. I think we need to have donated parcel, frontage lot, and public safety building committee can go forward. This entire parcel is sort of coming up to work.
I think the point he's making is a good one. At that joint meeting with all the different boards and committees, everybody was for it. Everybody was for it. We didn't have specifics on what would be built where, but there was nobody was against it at all in terms of what they expressed.
Yeah.
Secondly, it would be a big mistake to do something now with expense and surveys and negotiations and all this, and then go, oh my gosh, we had this opportunity to purchase the whole thing at that time, and now something else has come up, other development has occurred, etc. We may look back regretfully, because I think one of the points that was made at that big meeting was there isn't a whole lot of open space available so close to the center of town, or that's available for purchase, farmland, some of the other places. And thirdly, I really do feel like, even though we've been doing this for almost 2 years now, we're sort of up against the time wire, and now I'm feeling really pushed to make sure this happens for this upcoming May annual town meeting, given all these factors that we're coming up with. I think we need to sit with that for just a second. What you're bringing up?
I'm coming in late, my apologies for being late. Did we consider that their original letter, the offer letter, had the condition that it had to be accepted by town meeting though? Was that discussed?
We heard that, but we feel that they have also kind of been dragging their feet. They haven't facilitated much to help us keep on moving.
I just want to make sure it was.
Yeah. But realistically, we won't have the appraisal of our 2 parcels or the big parcel back for, till the end of March, early April. That was a 5 to 6 week timeframe. Theoretically, articles for town meeting are due in by March 21 to start taking a look at, getting off to KP Law for review, et cetera, so that they can be, posted a couple weeks before town meeting in mid-April. So, or toward the end of April, 3rd week of April.
I guess I say that, I was just wondering if that letter should also include their, the possibility that they extend that offer to the special town meeting. The 4-acre parcel donation.
Well, let me just read from that February 1st letter under bullet 3. Said property, that would be the commercial lot, said property must be approved at the May 2024 annual town meeting. If town meeting does not approve funding or acceptance for the acquisition of this commercial property, it shall not affect the donation of the approximately.
Okay. All right.
So it is, if at the annual 2024 town meeting, the town moves forward with the purchase, we will then split the cost of surveying. So it's certainly anticipated. They have every expectation that this is going before annual. So yes, we have realized, Chief, that there's no way, since we have nothing, that it's going to be very nigh on impossible for them to complete their obligations and for us to complete ours.
Okay.
And that's why with that commercial property, that's where I went back to my comment about, they at least said that they had an offer on a commercial property.
They said they did,
That
yeah.
they want to, they're holding off on, they haven't accepted it. True or false, I don't know, but that's.
True or false, but then they
that's
haven't
what that-
facilitated
No, I
our
understand.
ability.
But I mean, that was so definitive in that letter, per
Yes.
se, about the commercial property. And if the town didn't want that, it wasn't going to affect the donation. So the donation is still the only thing that's very clearly still on the table, I think, from without any conditions, quote unquote. Although they want everything done by the town meeting. But yeah, I agree with you. We haven't gotten close enough to all the things that have to get done to make it happen in time.
But what you read there says that they don't plan on doing the survey until after the town meeting.
You're right, Mark, it's okay.
So that's why they're dragging their feet. They're expecting, we'll do the survey after the town meeting. We're not even thinking about doing it.
So that's going to be in the letter too. It's impossible. We need the survey and the
Yes.
A&R prior to.
Thank you for picking that up, Mark.
That's why there's, they don't realize that we may need the survey early. They're assuming that they gave us this letter and the survey's gonna be happening after the town meeting.
Yeah, so in a way, we're kind of rebutting this latest information that came today, saying, yes, we definitely want the 48,000 square feet, and
We'd like to do it before the.
this needs to be
It
done.
has
before.
to be done before.
Yeah, it needs to be.
And I think they're thinking that they sent us that letter and we know that they're gonna, the survey's happening after, so they're not aware that,
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
And we also just have to make sure we're complying with 30B too.
Could you define that?
Yeah.
What is it?
30B
Yeah.
is a municipal procurement. So
Oh, yeah.
everything from supplies to real property to
okay.
services.
Yeah.
And what implication does that have to this, Scott? Explain that a little.
I'm not an expert in it,
Mm-hmm.
but there are certain things, certain steps that we have to do if we are looking to acquire a unique piece of property.
Okay.
Versus, we're just looking for 1 acre to put, a storage shed on versus we need to buy land next to a park to
Okay.
increase it. So there's a little bit of complexity there.
Okay. So that's another factor in all of this. Okay.
Sounds like there may be some loose ends if we go too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think what you were saying, Mark, was that maybe we focus, if we were to do anything for the Maytown meeting, and correct me if I'm not hearing this right, that maybe we focus on whether we can do the big parcel at Maytown meeting?
I just throw that at the end of, the conversation where we sort of narrowed everything down to exactly what
Right.
we want. And then I remember, again, I'm just repeating what we had
Yeah.
discussed. And it was a possibility if the town wanted to proceed with try to get the purchase of the entire parcel.
Right.
They could possibly do it just by referring to booking page versus a specific non-existent A&R.
And then would that mean, if the full parcel were voted favorably on at annual, then it would render moot what we're trying to accomplish with the carving out the donated and commercial lots? I mean,
And that's
Then it
sort
would
of,
be
that's
up to
why at that
us.
point in time, it's at the discretion of the committee, the fact that these 2 lots have been carved out with an A&R, that can be erased with another A&R to combine the lots back into a single parcel. And so there's no harm done if we have the A&R in our hands and it's approved by the planning board, and until it's purchased, it's still owned by the LaBreeze, those
yes,
lots
yes.
are.
So you're so they would be responsible for the survey and the A&R
Right.
at this time, for those, yeah, okay, all right.
Right, so, I don't see any reason we should stop pushing to get this A&R done.
Yeah.
And if it goes to town meeting or not, we still, I think, need to have, a direction to go with the committee.
Yes.
And the town and decide, the select board, or not necessarily this committee, could decide whether or not they want to request purchase of the entire parcel at town meeting. That's more, that's more of a burden of the select board as to whether.
Well, and part of that too is whether, again, that wouldn't require an A&R, but we'll have an appraisal done. Christina, you said it was surveyed at some point in time.
Well, but it should have been when
Yeah.
the Waynes sold it to the LaBreeze in 2017. They wouldn't have bought an unsurveyed parcel.
I think we would still want to go through another title search though.
Well, I think Charlie made the point that the title search that was done in 2017 meant nothing at this time. That
Well,
they're only
it's
good
changed
for,
hands between,
right, that
even
it,
between the LaBreeze themselves. over
Correct.
time. So I
Correct.
would want to be sure that we have a good title search. But that's a separate issue. So, yeah, I guess I'm trying to figure out whether we focus on a town meeting work, because we don't know, again, we won't know, they're throwing out this $2.6 million. Again, until we see the appraisal back and understand whether that amount of money includes the wetlands and all this other property that we can't technically use, but it's part of the parcel. I mean, is there any negotiating room beyond, below that 2.6? We don't know. That's the only figure we have on the table right now. So I don't know that we'd get any negotiating done in time also for the Maytown meeting. I think everything, it sounds like we're talking both things for a special town meeting, which would have to be
And somebody raised, where do the canon, the realtors fit into this? And I don't know that they're involved in the, private purchase of the front lot or the donated lot, but when you talk about the entire lot, pretty sure they have a finger in that pot, because they've been involved in it right along, they were present when we walked the property, they're developers.
Yeah, we have no idea what the relationship,
right.
what the agreement is between them and Bullet for that parcel. either. That's quite true. So it looks like we're kind of sliding towards a special town meeting to be determined, which would be,
Unless they can provide us with
Yeah.
what we need in a timely fashion, which it seems unlikely, but
yeah. So we can throw it out there and see how they react to that.
yeah.
So 30 days from now is like the 3rd of April. Is that enough time to do all this? If we get, I don't know, guys.
Well, we don't know. So
That's
we just
assuming-
need to, I think we just need to start moving forward.
Yeah.
In this way. We voted to move it forward as we have tonight, and then at our next meeting, maybe we'll have a little more, we'll have had further time to contemplate where we're at, and maybe,
Well, and that's hoping too that the appraisal keeps on working on time too.
Yeah, there's a legal term called time is of the essence. And that's,
Yeah.
you can add that to the end of the letter.
which would also, I think, that would lead into public engagement. May we do that and just talk about the public forum now? Because I was wondering about, we have to have concrete information to offer at the public forum, and so what if we don't have the appraisal? The negotiations will not have taken place with the Labries. Hopefully, with luck, we'll have the appraised figures, but it's only then that negotiations can begin. So what information, what clarity can we give the public at a public forum if everything is in limbo?
I believe that there's a lot of people, anybody that knows anything about our meetings over the last many months, think that we're going to go to town meeting saying, we're going to build a public safety building. And that's not it. It's all about land acquisition at the town meeting. We're not yet looking for the multiple millions of dollars to build a public safety building. It's going to be confusing. The public forum, as I was looking through the notes and all that, it's confusing. It's confusing to us in some ways, but it's going to be confusing to the wider people out there.
And if it is about land acquisition and we don't have concrete information to offer, I mean, so we have to be planning for that and starting to advertise, but I guess we ought, well, 6 weeks takes us up, 5 to 6 weeks takes us essentially up to the public forum.
April 10th, yeah.
We don't want to get into a pickle with being unprepared for this.
And looking like, what are you talking about? What do we need? And people asking point blank, when are we going to build this building? Well, we don't even have the land yet, those are the kinds of things that are going to...
Yeah.
Well, we're pretty sure we would not go back to the land down here. So Zero College Highway is our desired choice.
Well, it is, but it's not secure yet. We may be forced to find somewhere
Right.
else. If the conditions,
Right. So I mean, I think you'd have to put a bunch of caveats on there. This is what we're looking at, and here's why we're looking at it, and this is what we want to propose to do with it in terms of the kind of functional facility we would like to see the town have. I mean, I think we've got to do something. We can't push off a public forum until beyond. We're going to lose. I mean, HKT is going to be done.
right.
And then what?
So can it be a different kind of public forum? Can it be a, what is it called when they, sort of an engagement forum, like, people give their thoughts?
The visioning.
Visioning,
It's
yeah.
past that.
All right, fine.
We've done the visioning ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, true, but
In terms of what goes into the building, Okay, that's
I mean, it can be an update, tell the forum, because we need to get it out there and have people aware, tell us where we are at, and then, say.
I guess that's it.
Well,
We just tell them
get
the
some
facts.
clarification when it comes time to vote. Maybe we don't have that information, maybe optimistically.
Well, I mean,
it really shouldn't be a big deal to get, I'm sorry, going back to Charlie, it shouldn't be a big deal to get a clear definition of parcels they're talking about and purchase and sale agreement. I mean, I'm not gonna oversimplify it, but it's been around long enough that I've seen things like this happen pretty quick.
Yeah, if they really wanted it to happen, I would think they could make it happen.
Yeah, so-
Okay.
But I think irrespective, if we don't put this up for the May town meeting, which I think we're all sounding like we're not, there still is merit to having a public information forum to let them know what we're struggling with.
Yes.
I mean, what's wrong with it?
And there can be another one in the future too, with more definitive information. So it would actually, in my opinion, be good to have more than one public meeting.
I mean, have one in April and have one in August. An update.
Or prior to a special town meeting, yeah.
And we may be prepared on the 10th, I don't know. If everybody starts doing their homework that they're supposed to, it shouldn't be that long for lawyers to pull together a purchase and sale agreement and an A&R plan.
That, you're right on that, okay.
I mean, and if time is of the essence, we need it now.
Yeah, and if it's of their essence, if it's time is of
Yeah.
essence in their minds, then
Right.
they could make it happen.
If they don't complete their part of it, then the deal gets pushed off till fall town meeting. I mean, I guess that's sort of black and white.
Yeah. All right. Do you have something more?
No, I guess we're going around circles here, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so, we'll hope for the appraisal for the public forum, but do you feel comfortable? We'll make what we can of the April 10th public gathering. How about if we leave it like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Chiefs, how about the video update? You have a plan. Oh, well, I should clarify, excuse me, before going on that the chief and has confirmed that the school is available
Yes.
Oh, good.
for April 10th.
I have to excuse myself.
Yes.
John's going to continue with minutes.
Thank you, John.
And,
Thank you, Cindy.
You bet. Sorry about that. Can I have that map back, or do you still need it?
Oh, yeah.
And it's possible I moved away from the public forum too quickly, but in the interest of time, I guess I was... Oh, and the next agenda item is discuss public forum. Okay, we'll go back to the video, Chief.
We are meeting on
This Thursday.
Thursday at 5 o'clock with everybody at the police department.
And will this be a video session or just a discussion?
We'll have to see, I suppose. I think Jackson kind of wants to get a feel of exactly what we want. So I think it's going to be I believe it's probably going to be just a discussion as to how to approach it. We'll schedule something, but I can't say for sure.
Okay.
But
All right.
Denise and Jim will be there, yes, as well as the chiefs and I.
Right. So great, that's all moving forward.
Yes,
then.
that's Friday this Thursday. Thursday.
Perfect, thank you.
And also, I'm additionally meeting on Wednesday with John Richards from the package store with that brochure.
Oh, good.
They came up with something, he just wants to talk with me a little bit about it, and then I can get a copy of that and present it to the committee.
Great.
He also suggested that maybe it'd be more practical to do an 8.5 versus a trifold, 8.5 split in half versus a trifold. But I submitted him the go-bys, potential go-bys that we got from HKT that they had as examples. So we'll see what they have to go with at this point. And then they're going to give you a copy of what they have, and then I'll present it to the committee to see what we want to change. It looks good.
So what you're saying, Chief, is they're just suggesting that the layout, the format be for a folded in half rather than a...
The trifold, yes,
trifold.
exactly.
But for mailing purposes, it would be folded, it would be a trifold regardless, right?
Yeah.
Just a different...
That I don't know. I don't know.
Because we wouldn't be mailing out a half sheet. A folded in
I
half.
think we can.
Yeah, but that isn't postage on a...
Might be a little bit greater, you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. By 8.5 by 5.5. I don't think we've ever mailed out anything.
He didn't seem to, and he does a lot of mailings. He didn't
Yes,
seem
yes,
to-
okay, well, you can clarify
Yeah, I'll
that.
clarify that with him, but he didn't seem to think that that was an issue.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Now,
And he knows the budget that he has to
okay.
maintain, so.
Yeah. And we need to talk about the signboards. The HKT is suggesting they will design. And we had talked about possibly engaging package store to print those. Is that right?
We did, I'll talk to him on Tuesday about that.
That's what I was going to ask, if you would bring
Yeah.
that up
Mhm.
with him. Great, thank you, Chief.
Yeah.
Please help me make sure I'm getting everything here. So signboards. To be honest, I have not opened up the WeTransfer files to look at HKT's signboards. Has everyone else? No.
Say that again, what?
HKT, it was Amy, I think, after the last meeting, sent out
Right,
the
I looked
signboards.
through a few of them, I didn't look through them all. I have the original signboard from the last building. You know, obviously it's a small one, but I mean, I still have this at the station. This was the last one from
From 2015?
2015.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, keynote meetings.
So I could, I mean, next meeting I can bring it in.
That would be great.
Yeah.
And did anyone download the files that Amy sent?
I did.
You did, and were some of their signboards of interest?
They were for a lot of different things, you know, especially like, I can say that the pamphlets were not specifically of public safety complex,
Right.
you know, developments, but they were informational, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we need to, I guess, figure out, right? Like, what type of information do we want to put on this? Are we putting the layout? Is it more of, are we to inform the public more of what we have, the current conditions? Or, because that's going to also be in I imagine the PowerPoint that's going to be presented at the meeting. So what specifically with these poster boards are we trying to convey?
I wonder, would it be useful to have the actual one here that you have, Chief, at our next meeting? And would that give us a starting point to develop ideas for what we want to go on occur?
Yeah, because their pamphlets and stuff had more of like a paragraph at the top with a history of why they wanted a new building, or not a history, but, you know, the current facilities conditions, right?
I don't remember specifically, it's been so long, but.
Basically, it's a need in a proposal. I mean, that's how you put that in this much information. We've been talking about this thing for years.
Do we have to be careful with this, as Ed cautioned us about the content not being a proponent or not pushing for the a positive vote, an affirmative vote, and that it's just informational? Do we have to take that into consideration too. Because Ed was suggesting that what we put forward in a mailer needed to go through KP to make sure that,
Yeah, it has to stick to more informational and factual than persuasive.
there you go, that's the language I was looking for. So I think that would hold true for signboards as well. Okay, so that's a good starting point. It seems to me as though we have sort of exhausted our time and our energy on the land negotiations tonight. Shall we be, or do you think we'll be more creative if we not try to hash through what the signboards, how we might develop those tonight, but save those until the next meeting when the chief of Solely will bring in that from the past? I don't want to not address things, but those land negotiations kind of wiped me out.
We can also print, well, the downloads too, and use that as at least some path for us to go by.
Agreed? Are we in agreement?
Yep.
Okay. Then frequently asked questions, is there anything we need to,
Cindy, you put these out, I guess they have some of the responses on them, and I think she wanted to have them, at some point, we'll put them up on the website, but we gotta still get the information out, because, are people gonna be looking to find these? We've gotta figure out how else we're gonna get this information out.
other than on the website?
I mean,
What would our Facebook, I mean, is that, I don't do social media, so.
you can always put a link on the Facebook, to link it to the website. People would come and look at this on the website, I guess, but you can link it from Facebook back to the website, so this wouldn't all be printed on Facebook, it would just be a link.
And that also draws the people to the website where it provides more information as well.
Right. But I don't know what she had for an idea of where else to put this. I don't know that she told us that.
Do you think that these were handed out for our review as well to confirm that these are the appropriate questions and that they are the appropriate, accurate answers? Should we make a point of reviewing?
Well, the Zero College Highway, shouldn't we have the right address?
Yeah, people don't know what that, I mean,
Right.
we do, but
Right.
Where do
general
you,
public does.
which
That
number?
would be question 4. Property at Zero College Highway would be,
Yeah.
well, Strawberry Manor across the street is 127, so it'd be like 125, something like that.
I don't think we can give it a number that it doesn't have, though. Should we identify across, say, across from
Well, she
Parker
has that
O'Grady?
here across from
Oh.
Cumberland Farms.
Yeah, I think it should be more precise at Parker O'Grady rather than Cumberland Farms. It's not really across from Cumberland Farms. It's
Right.
really
Okay,
much more Parker O'Grady, I think.
from across,
I know.
okay, so across from Parker O'Grady Law Offices?
Yeah, and behind, well, the one building there is 127, behind 127 or something like that.
Adjacent.
Instead of the Zero College
Yeah.
Highway, because they're gonna think Zero, they're gonna think down there by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Yeah, and
And
then the
there's-
town line.
And as Cindy has pointed out, I think there are about 4 Zero College highways.
Yeah, if it's an unnumbered lot, it's often given a 0.
Right.
So
So,
you just maybe say College Highway without putting the 0 in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
property on College Highway.
I think we should go through all of them maybe, if
Yeah.
No.
we do. Well, I don't know
Okay.
what needs to be down, but I have not looked at these, and there's certain
Correct.
things
I
like,
saw when they first came out.
even the first question, it says the officers are crammed at the town hall. That's a big building, we're not technically crammed, and I don't want to give that impression.
Right. Well, so, again, should we take the week assuming we'll be meeting again perhaps in a week or two, to review and amend this and come back, rather than trying to read through them now. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Sure.
we'll be here at least until 6:30.
Okay, so that's an assignment.
Okay, yeah, I'll leave it.
And with the eye toward finalizing the language of this. So we'll zero in on that. Anything more that we need to talk about for public engagement tonight? Any more of our aspects? Well, there were the tours, but
We wanted those to be a little bit closer, I believe, if I remember correctly.
and that will now hinge, those will now hinge on when this is going before town meeting.
Right, and we said earlier in the last meeting that the tours we wanted after the town, after the public informational meeting.
Correct, okay. Well, moving on to discuss public forum, do we need to further comment on that tonight?
We're going to take that up as a fresh topic at our next meeting.
I would, that's my recommendation.
You know, start with that kind of stuff and keep the land negotiation to the end of the meeting if we have any information by that point. But, yeah.
All right, task 7 update, anything? Have you, John and Chief and Cindy?
No, the only thing I've done is the total net square feet of the fire station. Originally it was 2,000 square feet, but I didn't include the trailer or the Bleemer Road station.
Oh, okay.
So I did that, and I mean, we're still only up to 4,000 square feet between all three. And, you know, with the police station, you're talking a little over 9,200 square feet total, and we're asking for a 26,000 square feet building.
But to be divided, but that would indicate how inadequate the
Right,
current
right.
facility
You'll
is.
remember a lot of that building's bays, right? Which
Right.
you are in
Right,
serious need of.
right. So,
And you don't essentially have anything other than 3 bays here and a tiny office, is that correct?
right, well, there's 4 bays there, and then there's 2 down the other
Right.
station.
Right.
But, I mean, there's still, you can't walk around the equipment.
No, I know.
So,
We're going to need to go to a CPC.
Yes, okay, onward. So task 7 update, other business, we'll again put that at the top of the agenda. Other business that can't wait. Okay, next meeting, do we want it next week or shall we do 2 weeks?
I'm wondering if we will have heard anything back from Labreeze in a week,
I doubt that.
but we still have other business to work out.
I think we can still work on some public engagement if people are available. I mean, we ought to keep on, we really haven't done much out to the public. We're
Right.
talking amongst ourselves, but we've got really very little out to the public to.
So that would be March 11. Is everyone free at 4:30? Okay,
I'm available.
very good. May I have a motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.